Welcome to the debate. Our discussion today centers on a really critical starting point for any organization deploying AI. It's this question: do you aim for those immediate high-frequency operational efficiencies, the workflow automation wins? Or do you stake your first resources on the big picture, the major long-term strategic transformation? I believe the path to capability building really starts small, focusing on those predictable daily pain points.
And I agree that momentum is crucial, absolutely. But I'd argue that prioritizing those smaller tactical fixes carries a significant risk of strategic misalignment. We really have to ensure those initial investments directly map to fundamental business outcomes, even if that means navigating, greater complexity right at the outset.
The way I see it, the whole success of an AI rollout kind of hinges on getting that crucial early win. When we tackle things like, say, customer ticket triage or automating internal report generation, we deliver measurable value. We can actually show, look, we reduced report compilation time from 3 hours down to 1, or we increased first response accuracy to 90%. This addresses bottlenecks, and importantly, it generates the measurable metrics you need to get buy-in for the next phases. It's fundamentally about reducing operational risk and, frankly, earning the right to scale up later.
Okay, that is a compelling point, and I do agree that political feasibility is essential. But, and this is a big but, we must ensure we don't confuse that political capital with actual transformative value. If an initiative isn't framed strategically, like for example, targeting a 50% reduction in expense processing errors specifically to accelerate financial accuracy, it often just becomes technology for technology's sake. We need to align these initial use cases with core enterprise objectives, things like accelerating decision-making, not just, making existing processes slightly easier day to day. And doesn't the pursuit of that rapid momentum often compel organizations to choose use cases that are just too isolated? We see this pattern again and again. You get these islands of automation that never really connect back to the central strategic vision. You risk creating a whole mature ecosystem of minor fixes, which then ironically become a huge resource drag or technical debt, right? Demanding maintenance that ultimately drains resources away from the true transformation goals.
I see the point. I appreciate the warning about technical debt, definitely. But look, feasibility often dictates the start line, doesn't it? When you're tackling small internal efficiencies, the data sets tend to be cleaner, more contained. Think about ticket logs or specific project documentation. It's manageable. For the large strategic goals you prioritize, you almost instantly hit the wall of cross-functional data aggregation and integration challenges, which can delay a project indefinitely, sometimes kill it. The incremental approach uses those early successes precisely to refine workflows, to maybe standardize data governance, essentially building the necessary technical foundation before you try tackling those high-stakes external objectives, like improving, say, Net Promoter Score. And furthermore, I think we shouldn't dismiss the value of the immediate human benefit here.
Addressing tasks that frustrate employees daily, that create operational risk from simple human error, those quantitative results, like time saved, these are critical intermediate steps. I mean, if we reduce the manual workload for the finance team, we are directly freeing up talent for the higher value strategic analysis you actually want them doing. It feels like a necessary precursor to me.
Okay, that's a compelling sequence, I'll grant you that. But we have to be really precise about the impact metric we're chasing. Tactical solutions are, by definition, process improvements. If reducing report time only frees up talent for another, perhaps slightly less tedious process task, have we really achieved the strategic goal of accelerating high-value decision-making? Probably not. True strategic success comes when the application directly meets those key alignment categories, such as accelerating execution or innovation. If your initiative is purely defined as reduced workload, it just risks being sidelined later on. It needs that strategic framing. Reduce time to decision by 30% using AI analysis, which we expect to improve NPS. Otherwise, that small internal efficiency, however nice, is easily perceived as merely nice to have, not essential.
So the tension here really is foundational capability versus immediate ambition.
Practically speaking, I still believe building sustained AI value requires focus on the immediate operational wins first. That's how we deliver rapid measurable value and, critically, build the internal capability and trust needed to eventually scale into that true strategic success.
And the essential tension remains, doesn't it? Whether that initial investment should prioritize internal capability building, almost as an end in itself for a time, or whether those very first projects absolutely must be tightly tethered to high-value business outcomes from day one. Without that clear, top-down strategic alignment right from the start, we risk, as I said, building a highly functional infrastructure of minor fixes that ultimately never achieves true organizational transformation.